I just got back from a Greenway ride, and I was I was pulling some guy on a mountain bike. I was on my gravel bike. He was on a traditional mountain bike. You know, you go into bike shops and you see that at least the ones around here seemingly just sell mountain bikes, and you're just like, do people go in there? I don't know. Like they should probably be buying gravel bikes. Like they don't have to be nice ones, but it's like people just buy mountain bikes with like not even the tires that not even the mountain bike tires that people ride on gravel, like the actual super knobby ones for downhill racing. People buy those bikes with those tires already on them and take them to just ride greenbelt trails.
Yeah,
But this guy was drafting me spinning out, and then at some point I was like I elbowed him, like did like the elbow, and I wasn't really riding that fast, but he took over, and then at some point he peeled off, and that was it. That's the story. It's just funny having that interaction on like a greenbelt trail, just like elbowing someone through.
yeah, elbowing the guy on a mountain bike, just like, you have to pull.
I just kept like I passed him, which as like one does with a lot of people that are like use mountain bikes as cruisers. And then he just, I don't know, was just like really trying hard to stay on my way. Like fair play. It was like not the ideal setup for it. I wasn't riding that hard. There's only a certain speed I feel like I can comfortably take while being safe on like a narrow greenbelt trail with people with dogs and like people not paying attention to their children and stuff. So I wasn't going that fast or anything, but anyway.
Can you imagine how sick it would be to be the king of a mountain of a segment on a greenway?
Dude, I see some of those segments and I have no idea how people, I mean, it's like suicide riding unless they're riding at like 4 a.m. or something, but then there's got to be some freak or something out there at 4 a.m.
That's the thing about second tier, third tier American cities. All greenway systems are just like former ditches and in new subdivisions.
Yeah, exactly. And at least the ones by me have tree cover. The ones by you do not. At least some of them, I think, don't.
Yeah, it's good to hear that you rode again. I thought you were burnt out on gravel.
I did ride the gravel bike. Yeah, I didn't ride for 3 days, which is I think like the longest I haven't ridden all year. 3 days. It was only 30 miles. It wasn't like anything crazy. I was just burnt out emotionally because Sea Otter, man. Even just watching it from afar.
Yeah, I mean, we follow the race on Instagram, and then the whole next week we're just watching uploads and reading long captions and hearing about everybody being in the best shape of their lives, but not doing very well.
Dude, exactly. The best numbers they've ever put up only to get 47th place. How many times did I read that this weekend? But I read it happily. I'd rather read that than I don't know, something about my actual friends or something. On
I know that I can hold my head high after my performance last weekend. Every race is different, and I learned a lot. The bike was dialed in. I'm grateful to all my sponsors.
They always have to say like cannot fault the tech. Everything was dialed. Thanks
Yeah,
again. Thanks again to the Orange Shield team. Everything was dialed. It's like, okay. I mean, I'm sure it was. Everyone has the same. I mean, like it would have to be a catastrophe for something to be not dialed. I feel like at this point.
dude. Remember, like the real highlight to come out of last year's Sea Otter was that guy like flipping over.
I do remember a clip that kept getting played again in every Lifetime montage of I'm pretty sure I can't remember who it was, but there was, and I think it was a roadie because I felt like people referred to that like a roadhead guy forced to do the mountain bike race because of Lifetime's format and just like ate shit in some single track. Yeah, well, Payson crashed and he's already like doing physical therapy. He was posting about that. I mean, I guess that's what you do when you're a pro athlete. I remember a couple years ago when I crashed really bad and I didn't break anything and I didn't tear any kind of meniscus or any tendon or anything like that, but I just had like a few holes in my knee and I just limped for a week. And he's posting about it like we're trying to figure out what's wrong. No breaks, no tears, but I still can't walk. that's his story because he's a professional. And then me, it's like my dad was like, "No, you don't need to go to the doctor. Like, I don't think you need stitches." So we just washed it out, and then I just limped for like a few weeks, and then it got better. And then I ripped it open again, and then I limped for like another few weeks, and then it got better.
Well,
That's how normies do it. At no point did I ever go to the doctor for this. That's how American normies do it.
if you had the pressure of being the signature athlete on the new Allied gravel bike, man, I was trying to listen to with pay. I couldn't get too far, honestly. Like, seems like a good guy, but all of his questions, he says what he wants the response to be before he asks the question. It'd be like, I don't really enjoy Payson's podcast, but why don't you tell me how you feel about Payson's podcast? Is how all of his questions feel.
Really? I haven't listened to it. I'm waiting for I know the recent episode was him talking to the makers of Allied or the owners or whoever, production manager, whatever role, but I haven't listened to it. 'Cause I mean that's just, gonna be SpawnCon in audio form.
They seemed
Um,
pretty cool, like cool owners in the what I listened to because they were like, yeah, we just make sure everybody rides their bike if they want to ride their bike. And it's like, yeah, I guess I can get behind any workplace like that instead of like a traditional workplace where everyone thinks you're a psycho if you commute to work. It must be nice to work for like a bike company or bike flights or the pros closet.
yeah, if you still had a job. Now there's Bicycle. This podcast is you're gonna unsubscribe when we start the podcast by giving out our Bicycle code. That's when I give permission for everyone to just log off, touch grass, stop caring.
Dude,
Whenever we have a Bicycle code at the beginning.
Bicycle only buys ads because like so many bike websites look like they're fake and they're just going to take your money or something. Like I just like you search for one type of bike and like a site with only that bike on it and you're just like, do people really fall for this scam? Like I feel like there's tons of Reddit threads about that.
Yeah, I think they're different. They're different from Pro's Closet because you don't send them your bike. It's peer to peer. They just act as the marketplace website, just like a beefed up Craigslist or something. I'm pretty sure that's how it's done. I don't know.
Man, we should start a video
I'm not in the
series.
market for paying for a bike. I'm trying to get a free one, but
Let's
start
start
a
a,
video
a
series?
video series where we go buy like $5,000 plus carbon bikes, road bikes off of Facebook Marketplace, and we just haggle with the owner with no intent to buy the bike, and we're just like, yeah, feels a little bit heavy, and you just see them really upset.
It'll be filmed in that classic undercover way of like I was holding the phone at a terrible angle in my hand while talking. Like you don't see anything but someone's chest or crotch or something. It's like no faces, blurred out. It's like the address and name will be bleeped out. Yeah, that would be really funny. Who are the people who put up $5,000 like, a Canyon Grizzle and it's always only been used twice? Wow,
I
does gravel actually suck and we're the crazy people?
Yeah, it's like I believe that it's only been used twice, but I also believe that you don't deserve MSRP for your bike. It's just like
Right.
every listing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
somehow the stench of you not using this bike has actually really depreciated its value. And I know you don't need this money too, by the way.
Yeah, just that bike sitting in like someone's garage with like deflated tires. Really sad. Just gathering like pet hair dander on the lube chain.
It's just like in a garage and it smells like downy sheets and you're just like, how does this smell like it?
Someone's wife. Because it's a man. It's like a middle-aged man who's always selling these bikes. Almost always. It's just like the wife is like, when are you gonna get rid of that thing?
It's a good bike. It's a really good bike. I mean, if I could ride more, I'd do a lot too. I had planned, I was going to do the Rift on this bike. That was my A race, but, life happens. I had my third kid.
It's always like it's always like I did intend to ride this, but I'm recovering from back surgery. And then you're just like, I don't know the particulars of your life, but like, why'd you buy a bike if you got back surgery?
And
Or
then
you
you're just
bought the
like,
bike and then got back surgery?
I didn't know Canyon made XXL frames. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't
That's
understand your
so
body.
the the funny thing about canyon sizing, and so I've learned this off Reddit and some other places that people post about this stuff. I always feel like I have to do a bunch of research and sizing. Not that I have a bunch of bikes, I do not. But when I'm window shopping and stuff and looking at sizing, my body type is very kind of weird. For my height, I have really long legs, really short torso, which makes like bike fitting weird because of the reach. And then my feet are really big for my size, so toe strike is always a thing for me. So I do look this stuff up a lot. And canyon sizing, they have a large range. So they have like down to double X small to like double XL. And that means that there's people on that are like 5'10", 5'11" on like size small frames just based on the sizing. And it's just the name of the frame, right? It's whatever you could assign some number to it. It doesn't matter, but they'll call it size small. I'm looking at it now. They have 3XS up to 2XL. And so there's like you always see like on Reddit, what I've noticed is guys seemingly getting offended. They're like, I'm 5'10" and I should not be on a small bike. And it's like it's just the letter they assign to it. It doesn't matter. But people take this very personally. Just like a guy that's like not 6 feet, but isn't like a short king at 5'5". It's like, how dare Canyon put me on a size small? It's like, I mean, the bike should just fit you. That's all you should care about.
And then
But it's just, that's my Canyon sizing aside.
there's a guy in the comments that's like, that's how Matthew Van Der Poel won Roubaix. He was riding an extra small bike, and he's 5'11 and a half. Except they say it in centimeters or whatever because they're from
Centimeters,
Europe.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because of cycling, I now know what my inseam is in inches and centimeters, and I know my height in centimeters because of this ridiculous sport.
Did anybody do the thing where they say every team in the peloton picked the wrong tires for Roubaix? Did somebody do that again this year?
I haven't heard any post-Roubaix tire talk in terms of like commentary on the race. I've just seen and watched a couple of those tech videos, like that British guy that sounds like it also looks like he was in Oasis. That's for Velo. That's at all these races. He was doing the tire thing, when they like walk around their bikes by the team buses and zoom in and just yap about it. The other like Road CC, I don't know, the other channels on YouTube. I haven't really listened to any like post-Roubaix podcast or really watched like an analysis video.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
the biggest thing going into it was like 30, they're on 32, just like laughing about how 32s are the biggest they'll go, and that's like revolutionary. Some teams are on 34s.
yeah, I mean,
But I feel like the talk from like Roubaix for people like us is just like I watched it. I watched both of them, and yeah, it looks hard. That's all I feel like I can really say about it or something like.
yeah, my Roubaix consumption highlight was getting fed a story that like Tom Pidcock's brother finished and he was last and he like did a lap in the velodrome all by himself. Just like I love like the Aussie Canseco of cycling, like Jose's brother who like was never good or something. Just like that's so funny.
I'm glad he got his ADHD under control. I'm really proud of him for that. It's hard out there. I wonder what tires he was on. I wonder if that affected his mental health issues.
Do you think he gets bundled into his brother's deals? Like he's also riding a Scott or something? Sure, I'll sign with you,
Dude,
but my brother, my brother gets a bike too.
you mean like how Valtteri Bottas is a Canyon athlete because his wife rides for Canyon SRAM?
Damn, shots fired. He was in the above 35 UCI championship or whatever. The one that you like, I don't know. whatever. Everybody's
The
racing
the
their own race.
I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's cool that I was kind of hoping that like he would just give up on the F1 dream and just go full-time bike-fluencer. Like I think that would have been good for him.
Yeah.
But he's a reserve driver for like a 17-year-old.
Do you think Valtteri's going to do Traca?
Yeah, who knows? Depends what you know, if it's for one of like the lame F1 races like Barcelona, if it's like that weekend, he can just skip it. Or one of the boring ones, like I'll offend some F1 head. I'll just stick with Barcelona. That's the known most boring one.
Did you watch the Gravel Earth video? I think it came out over 480 hours after the race it covered, but I was still
Right.
fine with it.
It was great. I mean, for that type of thing in gravel, like, you know, everything's so new. Everyone's trying stuff for the first time. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't a highlight package, okay? It wasn't a Drive to Survive ripoff, okay? It was just well done. It told a story, had good interviews. Those like the Stetina jump scare. You're just like, oh my God, that guy's in it? Okay. There's something about listening to people speak where English isn't their first language, I feel. And they speak a little slower, and maybe that imbues what they say with a kind of thoughtfulness. But it's like a nice cadence. It's a bit slower, and then all of a sudden it's Pete Stetina just like Cali bro, just talking like a mile a minute, just saying all these random names. You're just like, oh my God, okay. Yeah, I thought it was really good. And I don't even want to be that person that's like the typical internet YouTube commenter that's like, this is great, Lifetime sucks. Because I hate that. I think it's so juvenile. I feel bad for Lifetime, to be honest, because you go to the comments or you go to their video that they put out, their 48-hour video, and it was just like a highlight package. Which, if you go back to a year ago, their Unbound video was, which was the Drive to Survive ripoff, 48-hour ripoff. I mean, I shouldn't even really say ripoff, it's just the style. And so that video had a bunch of comments in it that said, wait, this is called the highlight video and there's no highlights. It's all interviews and helicopter shots and like really nice shots just from a corner where they turned. But this isn't a highlight reel. And then this year they do actual highlights and everyone is in the comments saying, "Where are the interviews? I didn't feel any drama." So I feel kind of bad for them. But I think I don't know, I feel that the 48-hour thing is this arbitrary sort of theme that they've set up that I don't know why this hills or it had the hills at the end, but it had Santoval in the hills. This Graveler series video. It was really nice, really well put together. You saw some personalities, you saw clips of races, nothing really substantial, but it was nice. You had like the European version of like the Chemo Seymour, like this woman who kind of acts as the narrator, and like she was good. It looked nice, you know.
It was like a
I feel
long sponsored video for Paz Racing. It felt like at times
yeah, it did.
in a good
It
way.
made me want like a Pas Normal hoodie or something. Even though I'm a map head, it's like, oh, it looks cool. It had footage of racers like muddy at the end and kind of a little oh, just like it like showing people gassed. I feel like that's something that normies want to see. It's like the whole thing of gravel that does make it unique, besides that it's on gravel roads, is that typically, I mean, usually the Sea Otter wasn't like this. They raced the next day, but typically you're racing the same course on the same day. And I do think there is a bit of connection there. Like you do want to see them ride something you rode that maybe is kind of sketchy or really fast or something like that, something you can relate to. But like it was hard for you, and I do think it it's touching to some people, to me, to see them to look like it was hard and to see them, you know, delighted afterwards or disappointed or just feeling some kind of emotion.
Much like at the end of the hills, that British guy who won, he said, "I want to die," and I was like, "Wow, amazing, powerful."
Yeah, and then it showed with the women, it showed them like kind of there was like a little clip in there of showed I'm not going to say drama. That's not the word I would use, but it showed a bit of tension. You know, I guess tactically, you know, someone was riding someone's wheel or whatever. I don't know the context, but it did show a bit of a bit of uh, that side of it, the kind of, negative energy or something. But it was interesting, like I liked seeing that. That was cool.
A 20-minute video that covered two races.
And I don't feel like I needed anything else. It's like I kept up, I was following them on Instagram, and I talked about it before about how the Instagram posting was very professional, very pro-coded, no normies in there at all. Okay, that was their stylistic choice, fine. And then this video, and I'm like, okay, I think I got what the hills was about. I'm not over here like begging for a highlight package or something. I'm like, okay, I didn't see it in 48 hours. We all survived. It was still fine. I feel like I know what the Graveler series is about. I feel like I'm learning about you racers. Like because of that video, I started following people on Instagram on the Holy Spirit account because it's like, okay, these are people to watch. Names I'd never heard of before.
You're just becoming such a Rosa Kloser head.
Dude, yeah. I was DMing her about this morning actually. I asked her like the classic in quotations joke. I asked her like, what was harder, Paris Roubaix or Unbound? And then I was like, the annoying question that you're gonna get for your entire time in Emporia, Kansas. You're gonna get asked this like 50 bazillion times. And she was really nice. She's just like, it was fun, but there was lots of crashes. She's cool. Rosa Closer, Supremacy. I mean, imagine if the whole front group crashed and then Rosa Closer wins. The winner of Unbound. It really, and then she really could have said, like, those miles I was riding Little Egypt on a flat, that's really what brought me here. All I had to do was remember that and how I won. Then I won Paris Roubaix. Isabel King is King as she's known, who's kind of like, I feel like she's a privateer. She's been around for a while. I feel like she was early in the privateer game. She's pretty well known. She always wears like an orange camo kit. And she's in like Safa Brian videos and other people's content. She's pretty cool. She did Sea Otter 5 or 6 months pregnant, which is pretty cool.
Man, that baby's going to be able to push mad watts.
Yeah, my mom just played tennis with me while she was pregnant, and I'm not even that good at tennis.
I wonder what PA Paige Onweller says about that move, if it's recommended to be a performance athlete and be 6 months pregnant.
Here's my question for Paige Onweller. Is she still certified, accredited? I need to ask her this. Because if someone crashes really gnarly in front of her, does she have the duty of care to stop? Is it in HIPAA? Does she have to stop and render aid? That could be a strategy.
Dude, Paige Onweller needs to raise awareness for physicians, assistants, and nurse practitioners and all the work they do as mid-level providers.
I agree. I feel my college era, anytime I went to the doctor, was definitely a physician's assistant that saw me. I don't think I saw an actual doctor.
Man, if I knew I wanted to take gravel seriously, I would have just gone to community college and become an RN and then worked 2.5 days a week and rode gravel the rest.
Yeah, that sounds like the dream.
And I would own a Toyota Land Cruiser.
Dude, I want one of those van things. I mean, I have to like pee all the time, so I could never actually sleep in it or something. But I just like the idea of having like a van. One of those transit vans. Did you watch the Alexey Vermeulen, his Sea Otter recap video?
I didn't watch it yet, no. I feel like it got up very fast, and I didn't click on it that night, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah, I mean, very well produced. Alexey Vermeulen has that theater kid energy. He's always on. Yeah,
He's
he said some stuff that I feel was like he kind of gets it though because he was saying like, yeah, we need to have this content because gravel is a participatory sport is what it's based on. That's like that's where the money is in this sport is all the people paying to enter these races. They don't pay. And he's like, and people want to see what's going on. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, they want to connect. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. It was short, so I like that. I like that it was short.
Yeah, I watched the Justin McQuerry video of Sea Otter, though.
The 5 hour one, or how 4 hour one, 4.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah, I just got on the trainer and watched the whole thing.
Yeah, he has good GoPro settings for his stuff. I asked him what it was so I can make my videos look like I'm a privateer. Up the saturation. No, I can't reveal all his secrets. I won't do it.
So
But
what are we going to do
there, go on.
now? Now that Sea Otter's over and we have a month and a half Unbound, what's the content all going to be? Just like, I don't know, bike checks or something?
I feel like this weekend was what with Paris Roubaix and those sort of pre-Roubaix and post-Roubaix videos that are just all about tech and the tech just being tires or those like hub inflator things. The Sea Otter ostensibly is all about showcasing wares. It's an expo first and foremost. So that's all tech that is interesting, but then it's like, oh, here's this stem that moves in a different way. Okay, like, all right, whatever. So I don't even know if it's going to be tech stuff because I feel like this is all, like, all the tech stuff got put out this week and all the embargoes got lifted, like the new Allied bike, the new Colnago bike. So I don't even know. I mean, like, I wouldn't mind seeing training plan videos. I guess, is that like secretive? Is that the thing with those?
Don't all the
I'm
privateers
curious.
hide their Strava rides or something?
Right. Yeah, I don't know if they're on that level yet. Like, but I follow some of them, but then I feel like I never see them, so maybe you're right. Training content is interesting. Like, I mean, I don't think of cycling in that way personally. Like, I don't have a cycling coach and I don't, whatever.
Do they sell Colnagos at REI?
Dude, why do I want a Colnago?
I think just like
I
so
don't even
many,
really care, but I feel like I want a Colnago.
I don't think they've been saturated by.
Colnago is one of those brands that like is so Euro coated that their gravel frame still only fits 42s max.
I was looking
Like
at
I
that,
have no plans on buying one, but like I want one or something. I don't know.
man.
Oh yeah, did you know that turns out that every other privateer also was a barista at some point in their lives? That was like a thing from Sea Otter as well, is that they were all pulling spros on the Friday and Saturday after the Thursday gravel race at the Castelli tent, at the Roca Eyewear tent. I don't know, I'm making that. There was a bunch of them do the specialized tent, maybe. I don't know. There was a bunch of them doing it.
I want to start a coffee shop now, not to activate a third place in my local community, but to give privateers the half-time employment they want to pursue their dream,
Yeah, we should do that.
but also to be a bad boss when they start to get bad at racing their bike.
Showing up with like a broken limb or like road rash and they have to like limp.
Hey man, those tables aren't going to bust themselves. I know you got 43rd at Sea Otter, but still.
And the Spro was not dialed. It was better at the Castelli tent.
I need to order my Mid-South beans that are like 45 days off roast.
Was there anything that Mid South didn't have branded? They had beans, any kind of apparel you could want, beer.
Man, remember when everyone pretended they cared about Stillwater, Oklahoma for like a weekend?
Oh yeah.
Gravel moves on
Remember
fast.
remember all the aesthetic professionally shot portrait type pictures that were being posted on people's Instagram accounts, centering themselves in this fire, and multiple posts from the same people about this event. I mean, I get you gotta tell a story, but it was getting to be a bit much. Like, I mean, I have respect for all these people, but I do have respect for the people that just packed up and left and were like, I'm not doing it. My sponsors are okay. Thanks, everyone. Sorry about Stillwater. Thoughts and prayers. Here's a donation link. That's all that needed to be posted.
Yeah, fortunately, they have good bosses back at their coffee shop who completely understood their usage of paid time off.
Hey, tax day was the other day. What do you think tax day is like for a privateer?
Probably a lot of 1099s. You're like emailing the guy you bought your van from off Facebook Marketplace if he can provide a receipt. And you're convincing yourself that all of your groceries are tax deductible. You know, just really scrambling to make no money.
Yeah, claiming like the chamois butter is a business expense, stuff like that.
Yeah, you go back and you're like, oh, I guess all of the groceries I bought all year are a business expense because I'm a performance athlete.
Yeah, all the Chat GPT Pro account usage to like really tighten up those Instagram captions. That's a business expense.
Privateer tax day, where you're just like, well, if it goes this bad next year, I'll hang it up.
Go back to the coffee shop, go back to the physician's assistant, go back to the I don't know, take on more clients as a cycling coach. No disrespect as someone that like used to work in cafes. I get it.
You send the vulnerable email to like your sponsor that you have an associates in business administration and you'd love to join the marketing team. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. How about we send you a bike, buddy?
Then it starts all over again. I mean gravel, I'm optimistic on this year. I wasn't before, or it's not that I wasn't optimistic. I think both of us were just quite unsure. I think Lifetime Grand Prix overall is doing well. The post Sea Otter video, I think, wasn't really quite up to par, but I am glad they didn't do what they did last year. I will say that. But the Gravel Earth series seems to be, and I don't even want to make it a competition between the two. That's not my intention, but the Gravel Earth series seems to be doing pretty well. Like I'm interested, and that's why these things exist, so people like us can get interested in them and then buy stuff and go to these races and spend money and keep all the lights on and the wheels turning. But I'm
Everybody,
bullish on gravel this year.
everybody just needs Pete Stetina jump scares.
Man, Pete Stetina jump scares. That's good. Oh, Keegan was on 45s. Maybe that's why he threw up, because he wasn't riding mountain bike tires.
I didn't know Santa Cruz had that much clearance.
Yeah, Santa Cruz isn't a Euro-coated brand who they're like top of the line modern gravel bike has clearance for 38s.
Did,
42s can fit, but they will rub.
did you know if you're riding a Santa Cruz and you have headphones on, it automatically plays Blink 182?
Dude, I made a post the other day. So I think I sent you some of this stuff where Keegan's making his branding like the Blink 182 logo. Did I send you that? I need to send you that. It's
It
very
feels like a
funny
motif, yeah.
with like the same like 2002 punk rock font. Like as someone that was a child, I saw Blink 182 when I was like in fourth grade, or something like that. And you know what my dad said when he took me and my little friends? He was like talking to other dads. I still remember this, and he's like, "Well, at least it's not Marilyn Manson."
Why does he
Yeah, at
always
least Keegan's
use
not posting
Blink
Marilyn Manson.
182's worst song, Feeling This?
I'm feeling this. The air so right now. I'm feeling this.
You
That
know,
song was like the menu music on FIFA one year, I remember, and we were playing it. And it's yeah, that's the first three albums that were like a little more skate punk coded were like the best ones. Everyone agrees with that, right? Yeah, so I think Santa Cruz should put all their money into getting Travis Barker to come to Unbound and make SpawnCon with Keegan. Or not even Unbound, do it before, I guess. Do it in Tucson or whatever.
Keegan really doesn't like talking after a race, but if you want to hear that guy talk, ask him how he feels about Tom DeLonge leaving for Angels and Airwaves.
I'm just glad that after the Travis Barker's plane crash, Mark and Tom were able to put aside their differences and get back together.
Dude, speaking of famous people riding bikes, when's LeBron James bringing his Canyon to Unbound?
I forgot about that.
I was thinking about it the other day, just like they made it such a big deal, and it was just like a picture of him on a canyon, and that was the extent of it.
It's like his stake in Liverpool. Like he just has to take pictures of him in Liverpool jerseys every once in a while. And that's it. And then when they actually ask him about it, you can tell he has no idea. And
If
he just goes along with it. And he's just like, yeah, they were doing really well. And like he says the most famous players' names. Yeah, Mohamed Salah, which everyone just calls him Mo Salah, but he'll say Mohamed Salah. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's scoring a lot of goals. Yeah.
Gravel needs Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift to move to Emporia, Kansas, I think, we're just hoping a famous person really can put gravel into the spotlight.
Even Reggie Miller prefers mountain biking over gravel.
I forgot about the Reggie Miller era.
Yeah.
What's the race he always does?
I think it's SBT. He retweeted a meme of mine once. But I still get more followers whenever Dylan Johnson retweets a meme.
Dude, I'm tired of talking about gravel. I feel like we need to just go listen to Blink 182 and figure out which of their songs are good.
That song Carousel from like their first or second album that they probably wrote when they were like 16 or something. That's a
Eminem's,
good song.
that was a song.
Eminem's was good. Man Overboard. It's funny too because when I was in my more hard punk phase, of course, like it was lame to say that you liked Blink-182. And at that point, I didn't even care about them anyway, you know. And then it wasn't long till like you move on to like the British indie stuff, like the indie sleaze era. But now it's like we've come back around and can just be like, yeah, we like Enema of the State still has some bangers. Dumpweed.
Do you
I
think
just remember that being the name. I can't remember what that's. I know it if I heard it, but
do you think when Keegan Swenson hears Adam's song, he actually thinks about Adam Robert?
dude, that might be the best joke that's ever been made on this podcast. It honestly does, you know, a privateer's life. They never thought they'd dial in. They just want to go home, sleep in their bed. Man, it all
That's
comes back to Blink-182.
that's why privateers don't vlog, you know. We just don't really need to see how the sausage is made. They just post videos with like training peak screenshots.
Dude, I want to see videos of them emailing sponsors. I want to see videos of them filming bottles, not in an aesthetic way, in just a pure like meat blog. That's what I want to see. Could you hear my mom yelling in the background just then? Oh, okay. She wasn't yelling at me, don't worry. Oh, now she's yelling at me. What?
What? Recording a podcast right now.
Wow, she apologized. That's a first.